So a husband the husband is on the left with jeans. The husband is on the left with jeans. Husband sets UK-based wife and his brother-in-law ablaze. This just happened March 31st here. On Thursday here, day before yesterday, over home ownership. You can see here, that's the man on the left. The woman at the top, that's the wife. And at the bottom, the handsome man there with his hand on the chin is her brother. And he happens to be the only son in their family. So we said we want to start our live show today now. The story just burst out from Linda KG blog. And I'll read the story. It says, the husband now is arrested after setting his UK-based wife and her only brother ablaze shortly after she returned to Lagos. A husband who ran off after setting his UK-based wife alongside with brother ablaze just hours after has been arrested. So they've arrested the man. Chinyere Ogudoro, a mother of 4 who lives in Scotland with her children, returns to Nigeria alone on Thursday, March 31st. And her brother picked her up from the airport and took her home. When her husband, Benjamin Chinyere Ogudoro from Imo State, returns to their home in Lagos, he set his wife and her brother, who is the only son, ablaze. The family of the deceased said Benjamin and Chinyere initially separated. So the husband and the wife, they were initially separated after he fought her with a machete, but they later reconciled. Benjamin also had a quarrel with his wife over a house she bought. He tried to sell the house, but was surprised to see that his name was not on the documents of his wife's property. This angered him, and he sent her to death, or he sent her death threats, sorry. He followed through with his threats when she returned to Nigeria. After setting Chinyere and her brother ablaze, Benjamin fled and sent a message to his sister, claiming that the house caught fire and he escaped. However, before Chinyere's brother died, he said Benjamin was the one who set them ablaze. The bodies of Chinyere and her only brother have been deposited in the morgue. The police have now arrested the husband. It is painful, according, and I quote, the quote says, "It is painful we have to bury the Ada and Opera of our family," a family member of the deceased said.
Last year, she had wished her husband a happy birthday. I'm sorry that my voice is done. I can't listen.
So last year in July, as you can see on the screenshot, she had wished her husband a happy birthday. She said, "Today being your birthday, we thank God for his goodness and mercies upon your life." And all those words. And I guess these are all the children's name. Chinyere, Ugonna, Chibukem, and Chinazam. And I wish you better days ahead. Enjoy your day. So these are some people that are saying this part of the screenshots, and it says, "Special thanks to everyone who helped to repost and rebroadcast the ugly news. I can confirm that Benjamin, whatever the man's name is, has been arrested and is now in police custody. Thankful Maria for reporting this. I think they were thanking people that were spreading the awareness.
So this person just confirmed that the guy has been
arrested. Let's see what the comments, what everybody's saying in the comment section.
So it's very, very tragic. Miscalculation on what grounds?
Very evil. Now with the matter when we talk, Annie, put the link there, I beg.
When we were minding our, I don't even know whether to say it's a good thing that we went.
We always check.
But like,
put the link. My thing is this: last week Sunday, the UK and Nigeria, they celebrated Mother's Day. This is a mother of 4 children that they are based in Scotland. Now their mother is gone, and their uncle is gone from a wicked, useless, good for nothing, insecure man. The woman has her own property in her own name. Okay, they quarreled before. He's made death threats to her. They say they reconcile. Okay, fine. Okay, madam, you reconcile.
Not be machete.
Yes, he used machete to chase the woman around. Okay, madam, you reconcile. Then she traveled back
to Nigeria
on Thursday, a day before yesterday, oh my people. When month ends, not the day before yesterday, month ends. Thursday, yeah, month end. Okay, she traveled back, and her brother went to pick her up from the airport. Shebi, normally, if the husband should have gone to pick her up now. The brother went to pick her up from the airport.
Yes.
Then they went to her home. That is the home that she shares with this man. And the man had he went through with his threat. When we dey talk and hear say, when people they tell you who they are, they open their mouth to be saying it. Believe them. Now, who is going to take care of those 4 children? Who will console those 4 children? Who will explain to those 4 children in Scotland that the mother that they saw a few days ago or celebrated Happy Mother's Day with, that this man called husband has killed them? Who is going to? Well, put the link there. 2 weeks ago, we're here with the story from Anambra, where they naked that lady. Those useless people from that local government that were naked in that lady, paraded her naked to accuse her falsely of what? That she allegedly killed her husband.
Because she committed adultery.
They said they alleged that she committed adultery. And that's why all those things happen. Femicide rates in Africa is very high. I gather my research. I've been doing it. I'm gathering all my articles ready. Femicide rate, it is very high. What gives another man the rights? Yes. Thank you, Egosa. Male entitlement to own women and everything they have. True. Oh, guys, our property is not in your fucking name. It's not in your name. Why can't you get your own property? This is not husband now, but an enemy. Oh, yes. This lady knew it, but African culture will not allow it. Not be African culture, Annie.
Do you know that this man, I am willing to bet that if she was in
Nigeria, he would have killed her.
He would have killed her earlier.
He would have
the
killed
distance her. Of being a long distance marriage between the man and the woman in Scotland. That is really what even extended her life. Because if you have had the opportunity of washing your wife with machete and whatever, and then being reconciled and all of that, and still threatening your wife.
Like, you know about the brother, the only son.
Then you
in the Chinyere's family.
You set them ablaze, then you call your sister to say that the house is burning.
Is it not the same thing with that man that we're talking about that killed his 3 children?
Yes, I put them in freezer.
Is this
that was in January. That was in January.
Yeah.
That was in January.
So I'm saying this thing like, when someone threatens you, whether they say it out of, and it's out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So that the ear will hear. Now this man manifested this thing.
And I wonder why she allowed the same man to be in the same house.
I don't know.
Because if you have somebody, that's what.
No, why did you that when she came back? She went to the man's house. Why go to the lions? It's like walking to your death.
Hours after she landed,
you know,
brother came to, because if all things was well,
it's like
she did not have to go. The brother did not have to come and pick her up. It is your husband that will come and pick you up from the airport. It's not your wife says now. You will go and pick her up. And you will go to your house. The brother just go die inside marriage. This thing.
And the brother, to tell you that the brother is a hero, before he gave up his ghost, he gave up the evidence. He told them. Before he gave up the ghost, and that woman is a beautiful woman.
Very beautiful.
I mean, the mother of 4.
I'm not even usually destabilized with anything, but like this one, just look at
mother of 4. Hard working. Do you know what it is to take care of 4 children by yourself abroad? Do you know what it is?
Scotland.
Do you know what it is? Without wicked, the word is, you know, oh so my God.
Those children now, like, those kids now, so they don't, like, now they don't have the mother. You have to process that. Then you have to process with the trauma of your father is the one that took your mother's life. Then, after going through or doing this whole trauma,
how the children going to cope?
Survive? Like, where would they end up? Who is going to love them? Who is going to take care of them? Would they end up in the system? It's just suffering, because obviously, even if the woman had a house in Scotland, the house
she's paying now
mortgage
or rent,
so it's not like her own. that she can say at least, you know, my children, my mother had. So it's like, I don't understand. This is the case of when like some people in Nigeria, from Nigerian culture will tell you death is calling you, because there's no reason why somebody will threaten you so much. When you land in the country,
you go
there.
You have to be a ghost, a human ghost. And he say, I always tell people, forgive doesn't mean reconcile. Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you. I don't know how we go scream and reach. I don't know how we go scream and reach. You have to be selfish with your life. You have to be me, whether you tell me in joke or you tell me not in joke. Anyway, I do you now. You have to be. You have to be.
Annie, we can hear you.
Commonsensesisters, Jare.
Annie.
Look, this whole thing is just so annoying. House that this man did not contribute 5 naira away, don't tear. This man not contribute for this house. Now I go kill this woman and the brother. Now, first of all, this house that was built is in the woman's name, Abi.
Yes.
So it's his own property.
He wanted to sell
the house. So when
he wanted to sell it because if you say
the document was not in his name,
he didn't have a name. Yeah,
he started wahala.
That's the thing. That's the problem. This kind of situation is where the other one that we solved, the other woman that was in US, that the stupid husband brought the girlfriend to come and take over the house. It's just that woman was wise, though that woman did not die. But you remember there was a story of one woman that she and the husband built the house, but her part of the contribution was more, right?
Yes.
They built a house, and then the man now put his side chick.
Oh yes,
abandoned her and the children. At least that one she didn't die. But my point exactly is, since this woman knew that she was married to an idiot, a fool, an evil human being, person that is even worse than a devil, that kind of thing. Once you build a house, if you must build a house where he is, because me, I'm not even in support of even having a house where such an evil human being lives. You are in Scotland. You have escaped for your life and your children. If you wanted to build a house for your family, build it in your father's name or your brother's name for your family. I don't know why you have a business in building a house in Nigeria when you are even in the abroad with your children. That is another matter.
Not true, but sometimes it's human choice. My thing is, how did he get hold of the document? Where was the document?
That is what I'm saying. Now, is that not the African thing that I was talking about? This thing that they call marriage. A man has threatened to kill you. A man has shown you over the time that he's in competition with you. A man, definitely, of course, this man is a lazy man, because it's lazy men that behave like that.
Old man.
So he has shown that he is lazy. He can never amount to anything, and he has seen that you are a go-getter. And I heard that the woman was just in Scotland for just 4 years. And within 4 years, she has built such a big house with 4 children. How did she do that? She owned a business. She has masters. So she definitely went to Scotland for studies. And because she's a hardworking go-getter, she was able to do all that and still build that beautiful house. So she knew she was married to an enemy, somebody that envies her, somebody that does not want her success. Now, he nearly kill you. You still can't go talk, say you want to reconcile with him. You still allowed him around your property. That kind of a man, you will put his name everywhere, that you don't want him around your property. That the only relationship you have with him is he can communicate with your children. But between both of you, there should not be any kind of relationship whatsoever. Because me, I don't understand how man go use machete pursue me. Then I don't forgive him. Then I'll constantly for the same house. It not happen. This is why I tell people, forgiveness does not mean loss of memory. That you forgive somebody does not mean you have forgotten who the person is. Because look, commonsensesisters, people don't really change.
That's all.
I'm sorry. People don't really change. A bad person is a bad person. A good person is a good person.
Zebra was on to a horse before people, human being, go change.
I heard. So people don't really change. So if people tell you reconcile with an evil person, they want you dead. Because that reconciliation will kill you. Because an evil person does not wake up tomorrow and become a good person. That is the truth of the matter. I feel sad that this poor woman, this energetic, beautiful, intelligent, hardworking woman died with her brother. That means first daughter. So she's the first daughter of her family and the first son of the family. Now one idiot when the thunder when they come from Sahara Desert go kill them for nothing. Over property that is 1 naira is not inside. Even if Nigerian system release this man, the universe will haunt him till he dies a misery. You know, go just die suddenly like this will die you. He go suffer. Nobody go tell him sorry. Look at this kind of thing. Please, women learn. If man tell you who you be, whether you be even man self, if you have gotten yourself into a relationship and you now realize that this person is evil, is bad, please run as far as you can. If you have children, then you can keep contact with them if you like. Because me, I'm not even in that school of thought. Say because you get picky, you must talk to devil. I'm not even in that school of thought. I'm not even in that school of thought, seriously speaking, because the evils are too much. There is no law. When the children grow up and they want to meet their father, you go let them meet their father. But for now, you have your life to save, and only you get that power to save your life. God carry you go Scotland. You go build house for Nigeria. Come, put enemy. Look, I often talk and say, even if not be that house, even if not be that house, as long as that woman went to Nigeria, unfortunately, that's what I think. As long as this man is evil, right? Even if that woman did not build a house, anytime when he come that country and he knows say she did that country, this man will kill her.
Yes.
So that is why she would have used her intelligence to report and give police. Say this man, he they threaten my life. Like this is where culture control and say no. You know the report person husband. Is your husband the father of your children? He's not the father of your children, he's the donor of your children. He donates sperm, give you your fertilizer. He's not everybody that I beg. Common sense sisters are the verse this afternoon.
Yes, because I can't normally I'm really short of words, but in this case, I don't know whether is the fact that I was not able to process this because we just heard about this thing. And even Annie coming to tell us more about the story that of what this is just 4 years. Now she don't achieve all these things. So
yes, 4 years.
The thing is say
she has her own business. She established her own business for Scotland. Hardworking woman with 4 children. So she's taking care of her children. She has her own business. Maybe she went there as a student and then she built that big house. So definitely she was not really living a very big life in the Scotland because she wanted to build that house in Nigeria. Now that same house, now one person where they tell you say the thunder from Sahara Desert now go kill him. Go kill him for inside. Kill him, kill his brother. Jokwala, only son of the family. No, is there any punishment that can even equate the evil this man has done?
The man when we say it's more like if I hurt you, I go make sure say the hotness reach your family.
That is it now.
No, people, when you gonna tell people say forgiveness, not be foolishness.
Not be foolishness, not be memory loss.
If you don't say that they meant, when you believe that they meant, and it's not your place to fear them, you gotta move.
That's it. Forgiveness is not memory loss. I dey talk I not believe say look I not even understand. I not even believe say any relationship, whether it's a relationship or marriage, that has gotten to that level of breakdown, that there should be any form of reconciliation. I'm sorry to say, I do not believe it. I'm not in that school of thought. So people, if like people would think say, they support divorce, to hell with any stupid marriage that would take somebody's life. Any relationship that has broken down to a partner, whether it's a woman or a man, showing the other person wickedness, threatening the life of the other person, making the person go through emotional, psychological, or otherwise torture. I do not believe there is anything to be saved in that relationship. Some people just get bad character. People just get bad behavior. People just get misunderstanding. There are normal misunderstandings in relationship. But the act of wickedness, common sense sisters at the town now, I have been in a relationship with a wicked human being. So if I tell you that I do not believe that if you are in a relationship with a wicked human being, you should not continue. I know what I'm talking about. They don't change. If they get to that point that they hate you, sister or brother, run for your life and don't look back. If then they left, go right. Don't even have anything to do with them. Please, this life where God give us is too precious. Now the children now, that kind of man, what you concern the children? He doesn't care about the children. So the children now, they go enter social services, right, Abby? They'll be care, Abby. Or maybe they'll bring their mama sister. I wouldn't know. I beg. Man, let me give chance to another person, Jerry.
Thank you, Annie, for speaking your truth. Thank you for, because now as you did fire now, now you make my energy just calm, because I'm ready to fire. Because the thing is saying, I don't know why people go they think say you must be coerced for forgiving somebody. If person don't tell you say I will kill you, they don't they send you. They
pursue you with machete.
They pursue you for that time now. Not be say you dream amo. Not be say you dream amo. Last week now was Mother's Day. Not be say you dream amo, but then you can't come back. Your brother can't go carry you from airport. You say you they go the house where you and the man they share go sleep. Who dines with the devil? Who communicates with the devil? Who does that? Say you they negotiate. You can't negotiate with a mad person. You can't. Egosa, are you
ready? I did. How on a day now?
Man, we don't know from Egypt to come back to Nigeria. We don't know.
It's not a laughing matter, but person they just laugh on stress.
I know. We don't try to go Egypt. Go say, okay, we go come from Egypt, we go end this video. They say no, maybe we go Scotland, then use travel for Scotland, come back to Nigeria because of a useless man called Benjamin.
Oh yeah. I get it. Yeah, I understand. Hello, squad, Common Sense squad. I hope so na day well today. Happy weekend to everybody. Yeah. Well, we are back again to a very familiar story, right?
This one not familiar. I
mean,
you know why not familiar? Because this woman come back home. Now her brother go pick her from airport.
Yes.
Who say she did the danger zone? So which means that the fact that she's in Scotland, her life was already saved.
Yes.
So it's like coming back to the slaughter. I don't want to hear anybody come to say the man do juju, say that spiritual America come back. No.
But here's my take, right? I believe in, for me, women should stop running. Una want they run till when?
What do you mean?
Want they run where? Which place go be una anchor? When will women start taking up space and claiming their space? That is that woman's house. She has every right to come back from wherever she is and claim ownership to her house. She suffered for it. She built that house, right? Number one. I'm not saying that it's her right. I'm not saying that she's supposed to walk to her death. Don't misunderstand me. My issue is the whole theory, right? Women should stop running away and start.
No, not that she ran away.
Claiming space.
No, she didn't run away. She has a house that she built in her own
name. I know, but I'm trying to disagree with you on just on one line where you say that person go waka enter fire, the man do they threaten and blah blah blah. You understand? Yeah, that's why I said that until when will women stop running? She suffered for her house. She built her house. She has every right to claim ownership to her house, to that house. Hence, this is a place where, okay, at least she would have maybe filed a complaint somewhere. There's restraining order. That is, if Nigeria is a working country, there's restraining order. There's the big D word, divorce. Then the man will stop being your husband. Because believe you me, before the man started chasing the woman with a machete and all those things, there were red flags. Because believe you me, we will not know the details of the story, but there are certain things that we can assume, right? Before anybody starts to go physical, there's always a threat, emotional abuse, and all those things. Then the big day will come where the man may chase you with a machete and may even pie you. You understand, right? Okay, now this is a thing. From this story, I sense jealousy.
Yeah.
Because the trigger is the man discovered that his name is not on the document of the house, and that is the trigger. So, which means that the man is jealous. Let me tell you something. There are a lot of men out there who cannot contain the success of women. They can't stand it. There are many husbands out there who will not allow their wives to be more successful than them because it does something to their male ego. Right. So, in order for the man to save face in society, the man will now need his name on every success of the woman. You understand? The man will need the name on the woman's property. You understand? So that so that the man will still feel on top, so that the man will not feel emasculated, isn't it? Yeah, because if the woman, like now, the woman builds a house in her name, the man feels emasculated. People will laugh at him that, oh, your woman has built a house and now you are staying in the house. You understand? So what I want to say now to every woman is, if you discover that your partner, whether your husband or your life partner or your boyfriend or what, if you discover that your partner is jealous of your success, leave. That is when you should leave. If you are married, file for a divorce. If your partner is jealous of your success, that is a whole red flag we can never ever ignore. That is a whole red flag we can never ignore.
I get where Gosa is coming from. Kola is saying that they beg to differ. If she knew her life would have been ended during that trip, assuming you are a brother, would you advise her to go on that trip? I can see what Kola's question
I think Egosa, people are I think this is where I was coming in for you, Egosa, right?
Yes.
The woman has a house built in her own name, separate. When she came back from Scotland, her brother picked her up from the airport and they drove to the house her and her husband shared, which is different, separate from what she built. You're getting me? So yes. I think so that people don't misunderstand it, that you think that the house she went to is the same house that she built.
From no understanding of the story. Yeah.
No, so that you're not misunderstood. Because are you getting me? But yes. The problem now is the question where everybody's upset, including Annie and all of us are upset, is the fact that when she came back to Nigeria and her brother picked her up from the airport, she shouldn't have gone to her matrimonial home. Even if
okay, this is it. Okay, she went to her matrimonial home and not to the house she built, right? Not to the house she built.
And even to go on to what you were saying, even if she lands in Nigeria today, and you say you are going to the house that you built in your own name, and the man, but you know that your husband has threatened you in the past, and he knows where that house is, and he probably knows you are in Nigeria. You should not be there. It's not even a matter of, for me, it's not a matter of it's my house or anything. It's still my house. Yeah, safety comes first. Go and stay.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that if it's a country that works, you should fight for a restraining order, divorce the husband, have nothing to do with it.
Don't do anything.
Because right from the beginning of this story, they are still married, you understand? So that's how I'm saying that even before the man starts chasing the woman with a machete, you understand, right? That's what I'm saying, that a big red flag. If you have a partner who is jealous of you, you have to leave from the beginning. If the man, because this man, from the story, I can see that the man is jealous of the wife's success. The man can't stand the woman's success,
and he has said it out.
Exactly. So that is the point where you start detaching yourself from that man before things escalate. So my lesson from this whole issue is that women shouldn't allow these things to go too far.
True.
We should women. I'm saying we as if I'm a woman now. Okay, women should stop ignoring the red flags from the beginning, because a lot of stories that I've heard, women take the relationship too far, believing the person will change. The person will change. Let me manage. I'm staying there because of my children. Okay, I'm staying there because you understand, right? So so don't ignore the red flags from the beginning, thinking the man would change. A jealous man is an angry man. A jealous man is an angry man. And there is something that happens to a man if a man feels emasculated. They become dangerous.
Violence, yeah.
Yes. If a man becomes emasculated, I'm a man here. If a man becomes emasculated, if a man feels emasculated, a man, take everything away from a man, but allow him be the man. You understand? Allow him being the man. And there's something, a lot of men will not stand their wives being more successful than them. It takes away their masculinity. So this is what I get from this story.
It's just a very sad story. I see Egosa's point is, But for anybody watching, if you have somebody that has threatened your life before, and they know where you are or they know what belongs to you, for your own safety,
you have to be a living
you
ghost.
have to be a living ghost. You have to be. See,
you cannot be.
Now the house is standing there. Who owns the house now? Because our younger brother is also dead. Who owns the house? Is it the children from Scotland that will come and collect the house? Is it the man's family? Or is it our own family? Who cares about the property when you don't have when your mother please I don't have strength.
Hello, common sense sisters.
Greetings.
So I'm gonna add to what the brother just said, Egosa, right? He was saying that, from these things are obvious from the beginning if you're paying attention. I think the problem is that it's because of the mindset that Nigerians have regarding marriage. It's almost, you must marry. It doesn't matter when you get to, there's that pressure to get married. So because there's that pressure and you're feeling the pressure from every corner, so people just feel like, let me just do it. So this pressure will leave me so people can leave me alone so I can just be married. So when you do anything under pressure, when you do anything under the manipulation that pressure brings about, the chances of just ending up with someone who does not is not aligned with you.
It's not your stuff.
Exactly, it's not aligned with you spiritually, psychologically. It's not you. Just anybody.
Together.
Exactly. If it's nice enough, that's all you need. You just say, okay, he's okay, he's all right, at least, we will get better. Or, I can change him, or I can change her. You have that mindset going in. This is why we're having issues like this. And I'm sorry to say, I'm not a bearer of bad news. It's going to continue to happen. Why? Because the pressure continues from every angle. Because I don't understand, as a man, if you're marrying a woman, you're marrying that person. That person becomes a part of you. The same way, if a woman chooses to be with a man, or a man chooses to be with a woman, you guys should be seeing each other as one. Meaning, in whatever plans you have, whatever goals you have, if the woman is achieving, automatically it's the man's success. If the man is achieving, automatically it's the woman's success. So if people don't start to unlearn and retrain their minds about how they perceive relationships and marriage, and wanting to be paired correctly with someone, because I guarantee you that man that just did that dastardly act, right, that just did that, there's somebody out there that would have been a perfect match for him. Believe it or not, I'm serious. There's every woman for a man. There's every man for a woman. But because we come from a society where the pressure is high, you have to, it doesn't matter how you get it. This is why we're seeing stuff like this, because I don't understand why, as a woman, you have your own thing already, right? And for whatever reason, because we will never know the details of what happened or transpired in that marriage, but whatever it is, that woman has something, somehow you're going to benefit from it. Directly or indirectly, you will benefit from it. Because
I even have a question for me. At a point in time, when do you think that we as people, members of the society, because if I look at society as, I know it's a group of people who are all part of society. Society is abstract. It's not a person that comes to be feeding you with words or whatever. Things happen in society, right? But when do we as human beings, now I'm talking about
responsibility,
say we will not allow this kind of pressure lead our own lives? Because
another thing is the man has done that. He has done machete. So I cannot blame the society now for this one.
I'm able to come here. The woman probably wanted to marry, because there's no reason why you would be reconciling with somebody. Even not that you want to still bear, you want to bear misses. So it's like, if you keep on saying, but when do we as human, what can we as human beings do? No, not for me. People as human beings do to say, even if there's this pressure going on in society,
I stand in my own purpose.
I am not going to allow society to dictate my life, to say because I'm not a Mrs., then I am an incomplete human being.
It's a personal thing that you need. It's a personal journey you have to embark on. I did not allow, because I got the pressure. It was hot. Okay. And I'm sure that people who came up with me in that same, that same age range and mindset experience the same thing I experienced, but you have to stand firm on your own. Unfortunately, unless you have the right people around you that are encouraging you and telling you, you don't have to succumb to pressure. Do it when you feel you're ready. And I think there was someone eventually in my life who happened to be a distant relative that encouraged me. She went through a lot in her marriage. And when she met me and she was talking to me, she was encouraging me that, look, I understand that. I can imagine the type of pressure you're getting, but don't stay focused. She was there for me at that particular time. But it has to start with you. You have to say, I'm not going to listen to whatever. I'm not, because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean I have to. That was the mindset I had, even though I struggled, because when you're standing on your own, especially when you're not mature enough, when you don't have the wisdom enough, there's a tendency to be shaky about it, like, am I sure I'm doing the right thing and all that? But you have to consistently wait. Because what I used to do then was I would say, you know what, maybe there's somebody that I'm talking to, and this person is just showing himself in every way. And then I would say, wait, there's no way I see myself with this person, because I know how I am. You understand? So because I know how I am, I know that this person is not going to be good for me. It's not going to end well with me and this person. So I choose me. So I was strong enough, even though I didn't know well enough to be able to, stay strong, firmly about it. But I knew enough to say, I choose me over anybody trying to get me to make this decision. So I understand that we're talking about a particular person that this, something tragic happened to, but I'm looking at it from the foundational aspect, the reason why it got to that point. But I tell you, because let me tell you a quick story. One time I was in Nigeria, there was a girl I met. She married this guy, and one time they had an argument and they got into a fight. And then she showed up and she said, hey, I need to talk to you. So she was talking to me. She needed someone to talk to. And she told me she had an argument with her husband that morning. And because, they were arguing back and forth, and he could not, argue her, or whatever the argument was about, he smacked her. You know what I mean? It's like smacked her around and stuff like that. So I asked her, I said, is this the first time he's done it? She said, no. Then she told me a story of when they were dating, how much she had put up with, and that, she just felt like, she's been with him all this time, and, her family, they all wanted them to be together. Now, so why am I saying all of this? The reason why I'm saying it is because young people, when you're coming up as a girl, there's pressure on you. The men too get pressure at some point in their lives, but it is heavy on the women. And if they don't have the right people around them, it becomes a problem. And this is why your platforms like yours are very important, because hopefully there are young people who are tuning in and listening and making better choices, because marriage is not the end all be all. If you're not happy, it is the most miserable thing you can be in. I have people who are suffering in marriages, and I know people who are enjoying them. It's almost like, is this for real? You know what I mean? Like, so you need to know what you're doing. If you're not psychologically and spiritually aligned with a person, don't even try it. You are better off being on your own until you find that person you're correctly aligned with, than for you to get into it with your own knowledge. Because I tell you, we always know the attitude of a person before we go into something with them. We always know.
We're
always
thank you so much for even answering that question for me, because there's nobody that can put me under pressure. I've trained myself in that way, unless I allow it. So I just could not understand why. But hearing what Omoye is saying and seeing that
makes a lot of
sometimes
sense.
people, apart from having their own personal strength, it's also nice when you have that guy,
even if it's one
person to help you through that journey. Because
Jay,
God, I beg you.
Are you there, Jay?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you doing?
Happy Saturday. I know the topic. I'm doing fine. I know the topic is a really tough one today. Yeah. So I don't know if you have a specific question for me, but I wanted to agree with what Omoye was saying about the amount of pressure that society puts on women, and then the pressure that we inadvertently put on ourselves in the process. And one of the questions that you asked is, how can we make sure that we're not victims to that kind of pressure? And I think I've shared a little bit of my experience where I made a decision to be with the person I'm with now. And it was a decision that was completely different from the path that my family had envisioned for me. And when I made that decision, it was tough. I'm not going to lie. It was isolating. You can imagine where you want to kind of talk about your relationship with your parents, and they're not really interested in having that conversation because really this is a decision that you're making, right? And it was really tough. And what Omoye was saying is you have to, and I think I've said this before, is one of the things that kept me going is, one, I was confident in the decision I made, knowing that the person that I decided to be with was aligned with me in terms of goals and, boundaries and all those things. We aligned that way. But then at the end of the day, I realized that when I go to bed at night, I am the only one that is responsible for all of the decisions I've made. All the people that are pressuring me, they have the ability to go back to their own lives and focus on their own problems. And maybe they talk to you once in a while, throw jabs at you here and there, say things that make you feel uncomfortable in the moment. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to sit in the decision that you've made. So that always really kept playing in my mind, and that's what kept me going. Another thing that Omoye said as well is having somebody in your corner, even if it's one person. And I did have that one person. I had one relative that she was like, look, all these things that they are saying and they're doing, you know what, just ignore it. At the end of the day, you've made your decision. I trust your judgment and all that stuff. And she was there to kind of guide me along the way. And another thing is, we've seen relationships fall apart left, right, and center, right? And we've seen most of the times, these people that have the loudest voices and are putting pressure on you, if you actually peel the layers, they are struggling themselves. So it's really, you're the one that's exactly. So that's one thing that I would really recommend is one, be comfortable in your decision and be firm in your decision, and realize that at the end of the day, you are only answerable to yourself. At the end of the day, all these people that have their comments and whatever, their pressure, they're not going to be with you when you actually have the problems and you have people, anyway. So that's one thing that I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say is that as women, actually, I feel as people in general, you need to learn how to be comfortable being alone. And alone,
Jay, hold it there.
Did you see the closing remark?
Did you enter the heart of myself and my sister to bring this out? Flesh and blood did not reveal to you. It's this common sense connection.
My favorite judge, one of my favorite judges, will always say, women are desperate to nest. If you watch a lot of Judy, you will know what I'm talking about. I don't know why women, both old and young, some of them just think that you must be attached to somebody. You must be a subordinate in order for you to be a champion. I don't get it.
Honestly, I understand that human nature, as humans, we're socialized, or we thrive on having relationships, communicating with people and stuff like that. There's a difference between that and the need to actually always be with somebody all the time and not be comfortable being by yourself. And I always advise, not advice, but I always recommend that women should, one, learn how to be by themselves. So being by yourself means living alone, right? Being responsible for your own bills, like actually having that independence and be comfortable in being in that situation before you even start to align yourself with somebody else. Because one of the reasons why people stay in these types of situations is because they don't know what it's like to not be with somebody. They don't know what it's like to actually, like, it's just
Not
me
mess.
and I'm responsible for everything that has to do with me. So the thought of actually leaving a relationship, no matter how toxic, is like so foreign that they're like, I can't. What? Like, what are you saying? I can't be by myself. So that's one other point I wanted to add, in addition to what Omoye was saying about, pressure and stuff like that. It's easier sometimes to be resistant to pressure if you're actually comfortable in who you are and being by yourself and knowing that you're enough. Yes, having a relationship is an addition and it helps enhance the human experience overall, but it is not what defines you as a person. So be comfortable being by yourself alone, and enjoy that, because once you're married and you have children, your time is no longer your own anymore. Right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Madam President
Amaka,
are you there?
Please unmute yourself.
Amaka, are you there?
Sorry, I'm here. I was just trying to get away.
See, Amaka has children.
So Amaka has children, so she will elaborate more on the beauty of being content by yourself, and then before you now get married.
Actually, I was coming from another angle in the sense that like I can't really speculate why the lady got. I mean, if you have four kids, is a lot of kids. That means that's a lot of stacking up and a lot of chucking up together. I don't know, so I really don't want to speculate how they got to where they got to. But on my own hand, as far as the pressure, the other pressure that most married women get into. And I liked the saying about you have to be happy being alone. I mean, even though we're social, I like that part. I love everything about that. But that's just one. Another thing that we get into is the idea of, especially when it comes to that Nigeria, I would definitely 100% know what number one is like. Oh, you're a married woman. Why are you not in your husband's place? It has happened to me. It has happened to a lot of people that I know about. Like, number one, because nobody's even asking you, okay, do you feel comfortable, or do you just based on, like, okay, just like, okay, maybe you don't really get along with your in-laws, or just on the general terms, and then you head home, you get to Nigeria. And there are still people expected to literally go carry your load and go to the place where you know that you're not wanted in that sense. See what I'm saying? And not because you want to, but it's the pressure. Because I could literally sense that she was trying to please people. She was trying to, because that's all I could sense from this. Who's just trying to make sure that, oh, I'm still married, sure that she's still married. Because I don't know what else to chalk this up to. Because obviously,
Because her brother picked her from the airport, and two of them went to her matrimonial home, and it was there the man set them apart.
But can you imagine that? I even always say this to my own heart. I say, what I know they chop person when seeing feet. There's no way, say, I saw that guy drowned in the middle of the street, because how did the water get to them, The water has to see your feet first before they now go about drown you. So I'm saying, so for the brother to literally take them to that place, is that pressure, that pressure of, oh, you must come to yes, you're never go your husband's place. It's on that talk. I never really agree with that, because my deal is like, hey, I don't have to, for example, I'm not to just say anything. For example, we just went home in January, right? And it's still the whole shebang of, if you're in go to this city, you go to your nearest in-laws place. My girl, no shame in my game, In the biggest cities, and I'm not saying that it's not I couldn't say. So I'm saying, in the biggest city, I still got my just to avoid just to avoid even trouble, because my own star stays in the same biggest city. I just want to avoid taking sides. I got myself a hotel room, no shame. So I'm saying, I'm starting to go with my husband. I will still go over there, hang out. If we want to spend the night, fine. So I'm saying, and then still kept my hotel room. That's one. And then in the east, I literally got a place like an hour away, And whatever we came for, whatever traditional rite that we came to do, because we had like the stuff going on during that time. My deal was like, I promised to my husband, was like, I'm gonna be there in time before anybody could notice anything. So I'm saying, But the idea of me just going to, like, we are sharing cups, we are sharing cereal in the morning, we are trying to crack egg to figure out who's gonna make breakfast. So I'm saying, all because I want to prove that I am married. So, my dear, I am married. I am married. That's what I'm saying. If you want me to, there's nothing else to prove. There's really nothing else to prove at this point.
I think that they have to keep proving in the marriage.
I think so. And the thing is that for me, I don't. People say, maybe because you are not married.
Who gives it?
My grace is constant. It's yes and amen. If you show me that you are a wizard or that you are a witch, and I'm not talking about spiritual, physical, by words, by language, by behavior, you will know in the physical that I don't want to have anything to do with you, because I have myself. And by territory, if I have my children, they need their mother alive. I'm not going to take what people. You said it's very true. So you people use common sense and wisdom, like, okay, make it not bad as bad. I get 1 hour away. Nobody will know my location because they feel a plan. Nobody will know my location. I will show up when I show up for the event that we're supposed to do as a family, and then I will disappear before you blink your eyes.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And he's coming. And he was saying, he was asking in the comment section if the woman was alone in Scotland. We said yes, it appears so. And she said, so it's not about her being alone. It's not. That's what the married. So it's the thing of being attached to somebody. So you can be far away. People be in Mars, the planet of Mars. But so far you are Mrs. in Mars.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I just knew it. I just knew it because I had from personal experience. I just knew it. You just say, like, oh my God, that's the man. That's the other people say, Oh, there's people say, Oh my God, that means it sounds somehow, or it feels somehow. It just is not like, almost like this is not right.
Yeah, because why would her brother go and pick? Obviously, you know that they've done the machete.
Once again, if it's the other sister or something, it's true. If your sibling has told you what they want, you cannot really take. Yes, but it's okay. I'm not taking you there. I'm not taking you there. Or if I go there, I will stay at least for some time before your husband will come. Let me see how you behave.
Yes, maybe him staying also is just to make sure that she's fine too. That could be also the case. I don't want to be here by myself. I don't want to be here alone. Please, please stick around and just, see. And it's just unfortunate that he had to die too, It's just quite unfortunate that he had to die as well. But I just knew it was that pressure. It's definitely not the pressure of staying married. It's just the pressure of appearing married. Because if she's been saying she stays on her own. She's on her own in where she is, and she's building a house already by, imagine you as a married woman building with your own name only. That just shows me that she already knows what time it is at that point. You see what I'm saying? So it's just more of like to put up the appearances, just to kind of put up the appearance, and that is something that.
Society.
That is the funny thing. For society, we don't even care. Who exactly cares?
She's not going to be the first mother. She's not the first mother to have to be with her children alone in their abroad and be going to school. She's not the first. So there's so many.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Like you said, there's probably external pressure of perception to feel like, okay, let's not be as if since people have reconciled, it go bad and all those things. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you decrease, maybe your word. Don't say you decrease.
Exactly. But can I just make one quick point to what Amaka just said, and what you guys are just alluding to, is that you have to understand the way we think, the way people think in Nigeria. The mindset is very, very, I don't want to say it's almost like they don't want to grow emotionally. It's almost like they're stunted emotion, that capacity to think beyond the box that everybody's been put in, right? Especially for men, is it I don't know whether there's restriction or pushback on them. They just fail to grow out, come out and just get rid of the box entirely. Because if two people are in a marriage, right? Both parties know exactly what's going on. So if that woman decides, I want my brother to pick me up from the airport, right? It shouldn't even be anybody's business, number one, in my mind. But of course, benefit of hindsight, and I don't think like anybody out there, right? But if the woman chooses, oh, I want my brother to pick me up, and chooses to, she chooses her safety or her comfort, I don't think anybody should have questioned her. But it is because of the community, the way Nigerians are. And to Amaka's point, yeah, they may have made some comments to her and say, it's going to look somehow. Your husband is here and you go and sleep in your father's house or something to that effect. I don't know what it is. But I think that mindset has to change, because now who wear the shoe, no wear the pin charm. We don't know that.
That's a mother. Who mindset?
So can I say something?
Sorry, we interrupted Omoye. Sorry, Omoye, please continue. After you, then Egosa will.
Yeah, so I just think that there has to be a lot of reorientation of the mind, or how people see things, and how they see themselves, because you have to learn to, if you don't know how to choose yourself, if you don't know how to love yourself, you can't love someone else. If you cannot think outside of the box, or just get rid of the box and create your own rules that work for you, we're going to keep having this issue, this problem come up over and over again. Because for someone who was able to work that hard and then go back home and be able to do that, build that type of house in Nigeria for her own, it's not even just for her alone, no. Her husband is going to be in that house. Her children are going to inherit. I mean, I don't understand. It's just very painful to see and hear this news. And, to know that someone so young and there's a lot of potential that woman yet to accomplish, that was just snatched out. It's very heartbreaking for me.
Very, very. Akosa, please go on.
Okay. I have a lot on my plate. I don't even know where to start. But I just want to connect from, I think Omoye got into what I wanted to say, right? Because there's something about, I just want to make some generalizations here. We have talked a lot. I mean, brilliant points from all of you, right? But now the issue is, over the years, ever since the feminism movement, right, women are trying to fix their own problem in isolation, right? And who are the cause of the problem? Men, right? Men are the cause of the problem. That is why here we always hear that everybody's, the woman not for go for that house. Oh, why are women always the pressure of the society? La, 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 you understand? Because all of you women, you're trying to fix yourself while putting the men in isolation. That is why Omoye said that we will continue to hear this over and over and over again, that this story is not the last. This story will never be the last. And this is the issue, because women try to solve their problems while the men keep on being damaged, while women try to fix themselves.
So elaborate, Egosa. Because you start confused. Because I know that you take your time to get to your point, but for the sake of elaborate, what do you mean? So as we try to fix our own problem,
good thing, perfect. But bring us along. How do we fix these men? How do we fix it? Because I said that from the beginning of this second story, I said that what is the issue of this thing? The core issue of this thing is that man was jealous of the wife's success. That is the
And the whose problem is that? Is that not the man's problem?
That is the man's problem. So that is a man's problem. So men should start fixing themselves, because women will never stop being successful. Women and a quick fix of this problem will not be, okay, women should stop getting married, women should leave marriage, and all those things. This issue is that men are messed up. That is my point, right? It is a problem.
So what's the woman's role?
Because I want to understand that part where you say women are constantly working on themselves. And I want to be specific now. African women.
Yes.
You and I, we know, everybody knows that African women,
maybe we never go to generalize
it's
Nigeria.
Not no, there are different people on this platform. Okay. African women are remarkably industrious women. Remarkably industrious women. It's not
honestly agreed.
It's not to say God gives somebody gift from sky, then you can't become
I agree.
Against all.
I agree.
So when African women are consistently pushing the boundaries for themselves to be better, and they know that being better as a woman, being better as a mother connects to you making your family better.
Amen.
What's my business with the men that cannot fix themselves?
Why can't
men come and do
women
that?
And women are also helping themselves too.
Yes.
So why can't the men
help
their own self and their own
you people
ego?
You people were here last week ago, so remember we had that tough topic last week when you actually was here. And
we're talking about men and all those things.
And I've asked this difficult topic. Men should start fixing themselves. Nobody got time to
men should start fixing themselves, but women, you guys are running away. How far will you run away? Turn around, head into the boxing ring, turn around and face this man. Look at this man.
Not that
and tell them this has got to stop, because what I don't really like to hear is that, oh, this woman not for go for that house, she not for go where, she not go, which means that women, you are validating the point that it's a man's world. It is a man's world. No, it is our world. It's not a man's world. So women should stop running away, stand there and face them.
Can I interject? Let me interject really quickly. See, and I'm very sure, you're on this platform and, you're making very brilliant contributions. Do you see how passionate you are talking about this and, wanting, men to be a part of this progress?
Absolutely.
That's where you start. See, because the truth is that men are the only ones that can come together. Right. I'm sure you have friends. I'm sure you have relatives that are men. This is something that you guys need to be talking about between yourselves. That brothers, come. This is what is happening from the women's quarters. What can we do? Because this is not looking good on us. And it's now up to you to call out when you see someone who is, walking in the same path or wanting to make those types of poor decisions. It is your duty as a man, because, Nigerians have different ways of thinking, and we're focusing on Nigeria because that's the community that majority of us belongs to. And I'm sure men all over the world, because this conversation is not just happening in Nigeria amongst Nigerians. So it's happening all over the world. So you as men need to find ways of calling each other out and talking to each other about it, and then come back and make improvements with your woman. And the way you can insert yourself, if you have a girlfriend, for instance, and you're dating the girl, right? You want to tell her, hey, because I remember when I had a boyfriend in college, I used to tell him when he made bad decisions or he did something that wasn't wrong, I was always calling him out on his BS. Always.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
exactly. That's why I said you have to be willing, because I also know men that you cannot call their BS out. I have friends who dated men like that. You can't, you dare not. Okay, so the men also, the same way, you see how the gathering is. Women are talking. I understand that women are better at communicating with each other. But you know what? I'm beginning to have But I'm beginning to see that men also have ways of communicating. Why do I say that? Because men all over the world are having these same conversations that we are having. There was one post, some TikTok guy that posted, and I shared it on my Instagram. These were men that came together and were calling each other out. One of them said, you know what? We create the problems. As a man, you're dating a girl. You break that girl. You will leave her, go and meet another girl, but you've broken that girl for somebody else. Then that girl will meet another guy, will not trust the guy because of what you did to her. You see what I'm saying? They have it, and they were all men. So the same way, Nigerian men have to be having round table talk too. And if you have girlfriend, that's your opportunity to grow. Are you willing to listen when somebody calls you out? Are you willing to put your ego in check? I've heard yesterday I saw something. Mel Gibson was giving an interview, and he said something. He said, I put my he said my ego. I put my ego out. That's what he said. He said, I put my ego out. Every once in a while, when the ego is about to come, I put it in check. Why did he say that? He has a lot of children. Most of them are women. He's been surrounded by women. So because of the mistakes he's made in the past, he's now calling himself to order. Nobody else can do it. Women can't do it for men, because the women that have tried to do it for men, their lives have been shortened, or worst case scenario, it's a divorce. Why? Because of the ego that men have and the culture in which we were raised. Men feel like they cannot listen to what a woman is saying. That's the angle I'm coming from. Now, the best way to do it is when you have girlfriend, you have friends that are females, just like you have common sisters as friends, right? When you're talking, common sisters will say, hey, Egosa, this thing you're saying, no. From a woman's perspective, this thing does not sound right to my brother. Chilo, don't do it like this. Instead, do it like that. You know what? I read history, long-time history in Africa. Do you know there was no such thing as gender separation? There wasn't.
People they read that history just
no. The reason why I want to point that one out is because women and men in our African, it's very important for us to know this. Women and men in our African society at that time did not see themselves, limit themselves based on what they could or could not do. It was more for the betterment of a community, to push the community forward. So it was easy to have like women that were chiefs back then, like many years before Christ. So I say that, and I'm going to leave you guys, but this is a great topic.
Yeah.
But now, please wait, right? Who wants to speak? Okay, now this is what I was trying to say, right? That it is very important, because men are the problem here, right? So it is important. I just want to say it so very simplistic. Men are the problem, but we are focusing on the solution. Leave the marriage, blah blah blah. Leave the marriage, run away. Don't go here. Don't go here. If a man, you understand. But we are ignoring the problem. And if we are focusing on the solution without focusing on the problem, and the problem are the men, and without focusing on the problem, then the problem will never be solved. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And I support what Omoye said, right? And men cannot do this thing outside the feminist movement. That is why because sisters, you guys made this video sometime. You said everybody should be a feminist, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So men cannot do this outside the feminist movement, because what is feminism? Simply put, a sentence. Everybody recognizing that women have been discriminated against, equality, and recognizing that equality is a based on blah blah blah. You understand? Good. So we cannot do it outside the feminist movement. Men need to come in. So in this kind of thing, because if we are not focusing on the problem, because for me the problem I saw here is the problem I saw in that write-up is that the man couldn't stand the success of that woman. So now the issue is
what was the woman supposed to do? What was the woman supposed to do apart from just divorcing him? She should have
that's what I'm saying. That from the onset, you women, from the onset, if you see that it's a massive regular, if you see that a man cannot stand your success, beat the man bye. Cut it off from there. Cut it off from there. You understand? Beat the man goodbye from the onset. If a man is not supportive of you, if a man is not supportive of your success, if a man cannot stand your success, for example, some men cannot allow their women work. They want them to be full-time housewife. If you know that your calling is not to be a full-time housewife, you leave. That is the beginning, because if you allow that pressure in society for you to stay married at all costs, then you have something bigger coming in the future. You understand? So the problem is, so that's my point. I'm really struggling to put it nicely, but I'm struggling here because
don't worry. I think I will get to where I think
I'm also trying to see. I'm also trying to see where Egosa is
going to, but while he's gathering his thoughts, let just
the delivery is
coming out the way, and I don't want anybody.
Yeah, because I'm tired of women running away. Because I'm tired of women running away. You know, don't go here. If you because a woman will sweat. You build your house. If a man is threatening you, you run away from your house. You leave your house. Come on. So.
Okay, Egosa, hang in there, right? Just hang in there for us, please, right? I think Jay wanted to say something.
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to say is I kind of disagree with the notion that the reason why this happened fundamentally was because the guy was jealous of her success. Yes, it has something to do with that, but I think the core issue was this guy does not know how to regulate his emotions. That to me is the key reason why that happened, because jealousy is a normal emotion. Let's not lie. Everybody feels jealousy from one extent to the other. It can be intense, it can be mild, but you do feel jealousy. Is what you do with that emotion that guy could not regulate. And I think one of the things that and I want to shift the conversation a little bit, and I'll probably maybe address some of what Egos has said later. But I just want to make sure that we don't forget this is, remember they said earlier that there was a time that this guy, or before this incident happened, that he chased her with a
mattress. And he sent her death threats.
Yes.
And he's in Scotland all the way, which was Nigeria. I think he's chased her with machete, but he has been sending her death threats.
Okay, so you see that already shows that this guy probably has a few screws loose, and he doesn't know how to regulate his emotions. And even before you get to that point of chasing somebody around or threatening somebody like that, there were probably little things that were happening behind the scenes that we probably don't know about, like behind closed doors. Yeah. So I think one of the things that we need to talk about in this conversation is how to recognize toxic, problematic behaviors before it completely escalates to something like this. Because one of the things that I'm finding is, especially in our societies, people are some behaviors that are supposed to be red flags for maybe you leaving your relationship earlier, right, is somewhat normalized. So if a man says something rude to the wife, or maybe pushes her or shoves her or does something, right, we're not really talking about those little things. We're ignoring those things, and then it's when the big thing happens, like threatening somebody with a machete, then we're like, oh, leave the relationship. So I think one of the conversations in terms of solutions is, sometimes people make bad decisions. And yes, you might end up getting in a relationship, unfortunately, with somebody that, we probably shouldn't have, but you're in the relationship. Let's start, talking about how to identify when somebody is emotionally unstable. If a small thing happens and this person is reacting 100 times more than exactly, it's like, oh my God,
it's towards somebody else. You got to move.
Yeah, exactly. And that's this kind of also leads me to what Egose was saying earlier, is I don't think any adult person should be responsible for another adult person's reaction or behavior to anything. I think the onus is on you, that you are probably, on the receiving end of the abuse, to make sure that you look out for yourself. If the guy is emotionally unstable, he can go fix that by himself, right? But for the woman, I think, and I'm speaking from a woman's perspective because unfortunately the woman and her brother were the victims in this situation.
Yes.
Before things escalate to this point, we need to start talking about what is normal and what is abnormal when you're interacting with your intimate partner. If somebody is shoving you, I'm not even going to the point of machete or setting the house on fire or any of that. If somebody is shoving you, throwing plates at the wall because maybe there's too much salt in his food, yelling, screaming, it starts with little things, like little, I'm putting quotes here because it's not little, because you on the receiving end is quite traumatic to be on the receiving end of those quote unquote little things. But let's start having those conversations with our women. It's not normal behavior. It's not normal behavior. And then, as people that are also raising children to go into the future, some of these things are also learned behavior from parents. Your parents will come in and the house is not clean and they ask you to clean it. Yes, the child was wrong, but should you be throwing plates on the floor? Should you be screaming at your children? Let's start teaching our kids how to regulate their emotions by showing them how to communicate properly, how to communicate. I'm angry, okay? I'm feeling anger right now. I'm not happy with what you did. Communicate that effectively, right? Jealousy is a normal emotion. You see it with siblings where one sibling is used to being the only child, and then they have another child, and then that older sibling is struggling with all of the attention. But let's start teaching both boys and girls. It's like there's just a lot of I'm sorry, but I just so
overwhelmed. But you don't be sorry. There's a lot. I get what you're saying.
There's just so much that we have to do to get to the root of this conversation. But I think the biggest thing is, let's start talking to our women and teaching our women that it's not normal for your husband to come in and start shouting. Okay, it's not normal behavior. I know sometimes we normalize people yelling and not knowing how to use quote unquote inside voice, but those things are not normal. And let's start teaching women how to identify those red flags before they become fatal like this. That's just all I wanted to say about that.
Thank you so much, Jade. For me, I think that we always say it on this platform. When people, even before even get to a relationship, come on, even friendship self, when people show you who they are, and they can show you who they are either face to face or how they treat another fellow human being. When they show you who they are, by the way they speak, by how they handle how they react when things don't go their way.
For example, the man team for football lose, he's breaking everywhere, doing this, or catching plates or doing whatever. Like the hell?
Say because his team lost, or like the nonsense that they did. Let me not even break FIFA. Things like that. That's number 2. Then number 3, then they pass what they call, we've done a video on this, complimentary insults. Oh my dear, now wow, you're looking so good.
Now you just build this house. But now you they feel like now.
But this is your tits though. Oh my wife, you are looking so good though. But now wow, this your
breast. They are sagging since the children came.
My husband, now wow, you're always overworking though. They know they increase your pay. You just be working foolish then. But anyways, we thank you for being a hardworking husband. Complimentary insults and nonsense things that people be saying to you. When you feel it, they will have instinct. But some people kill their instinct by themselves with what society say. I understand that some of us, yes, some people are raised in a family where they see all this thing and it's been normalized and all that time. The time you saw that growing up, right? Okay, you feel that, okay, this thing that my parents are doing to themselves, it's not right.
Good. You will be fighting it.
It's not right. Okay, this person is jealous, or there's a popular one that, oh, because he loves you, that's why he wants to know everywhere where you are, what you are doing.
That's why he's possessive of you.
Oh, that's why he doesn't want to be with you, to be with this is his friend. Or
he loves you. He's just correcting you. Are you mad?
So if people don't have basic human respect, I'm sorry, you don't want to be in a relationship with that person for long. whether it's friendship relationship or it's intimate partner relationship. And when your partner, we did video on the one where about the men that they were beating, that woman that is a politician was beating her husband and all those things 2 weeks ago, last week. Leave. Leave. And when you finally leave successfully, please, whether society say A or B, it's good to be. I've been isolated from society before. The smallest society was my boarding school. Yes. I've reported somebody for somebody slapped me. I slapped the person back, senior. Twa. I don't give a hoot about anything. My friends that were in the SS3, all of them, I was in SS2, all my friends, they stopped talking to me. You know what it means? Boarding school. My friends stopped talking to me. People stopped talking to me. They suspended the person indefinitely. They stopped talking to me. So I know what isolation means, not to talk of when I'm in a relationship. I did not give a hoot. So my thing is, when you're not being treated nicely, even for the once, you will feel it. I think so. When you have that instinct, you have to respect that instinct and act on it. And you're not. And Jay was right. Nobody's responsible for how an adult regulates any emotion. Now they've arrested him
or fixes themselves or whatever.
Yes,
they should go and discuss it with their male groups. I'm agree with Omoye on this one. Discuss it or you make yourself better, because even the men, when they come for the male groups too, they have to also choose to make themselves better. So you have to make yourself better.
Yes. So that for me, there's no excuse. Like, a woman that is in danger has to run for her life. Me, I'm not for the part that where where the person, like the man is saying, and now is right. There are some men that you cannot talk to. Even their own fellow, nobody can talk to them. Nobody can talk to them. You will leave them to wallow in their wickedness. And you move. Anywhere you are, you move. You don't even look back to say, if family wants to isolate, let them isolate, but you will be alive with your children.
Not you they are alive, that they isolate.
Now those children are orphans. Those children are all of us when they are abroad. Come on, us, they are abroad as adults. It's not easy. Not to talk of children.
Before children, you building your house and whatever. Man has he get no right. There's another foolish man out there too that is also being jealous of his wife, owning property that is planning this nonsense.
And that is, I cannot also completely blame the woman for deciding to build at home. Some people like to generate their streams of income from multiple places.
There's nothing wrong with her building at home.
You know,
there is absolutely nothing wrong.
So I don't understand.
The only problem here is that she remove herself from this man, in the sense that she divorced the man. She would have been at arm's length with this. That is my own distance.
Yeah.
Augusta put something.
Yeah, Augusta say, I repeat, the trigger here was that she omitted his name on the house document from the story. The man couldn't take it. And we know that. We know, I know. We know, we understand all those things.
The main focus and the main
men should be fixing themselves.
Yes, so I'm sorry, but what I wrote, right? That is my focus. That's my what triggered the man to go. What triggered the man to do what he did. So I'm sorry. That is just my focus. That is why I was insisting on jealousy in marriage. You understand, right? So yeah, because if you take note, that was I was just hammering on that, but
yes,
but nobody kind of like
I think
went along with me. Yeah.
No.
I understood what Egosa was saying about the main focus of the man jealousy. I don't think it's jealousy. I think it's toxic masculinity straight on. The fact that you think that you own a woman or whatever. Jealousy is also a part of toxic masculinity.
Of course, it is toxic masculinity. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I was trying to focus on that, but yeah.
Exactly. But there's nothing that this woman could have done. My own point coming across of it was, you know your husband is toxic. You have to be safe. This man has pursued you in machete. You have children across the ocean somewhere that need you. This man is probably not in their children's lives, because if you cared about your children, you will not do this to your mother. He has threatened to kill you and everything. Like, he's showing you everything. The house is for you. Nobody's saying here that the woman should have given the house to the man or that she's going away. But the thing is about her own safety. It's her own safety. Why would you go to the lion's den? This man has shown
Nigeria be going there.
He has shown you who he is. You are all the way in Scotland. Why was there no proceedings to leave this marriage? To leave this marriage is not a woman's like. And again, what the Gosa is saying, that how men have to come and join the feminist movement and blah blah blah, because
it's your fellow men that you are supposed to be telling down on.
He has told them before on this platform.
Yes,
Gosa says it as it is and all of that.
Yes, that's true.
My own thing is that women, I want us to. It's like I'm not demanding. I'm not begging.
It's not negotiable.
It's not negotiable. Like, You have to treat me as your equal. I don't give a fuck who you are. You have to. Like, it's not like I cannot be going out of your on my own. Then I'll be saying, because I'm a woman, I cannot achieve this, because there's one man there, because my society do this, because Nigeria do this. No,
sometimes
anybody who is a barrier there, you get away from my great view. I don't want to see you.
Another thing is that don't be among those people that will be believing that make you they cover the man shame.
What? No, that's another thing. That's another thing. We also don't know how many people have been telling you. Some people in the comment section now, in that KG Bogo already, some fools were saying we should be waiting to hear the man's side of the story.
One man.
What pushed him to kill the wife? How woman got
exactly now you're getting to my territory, sisters. It is now that you're getting to my territory.
That is the sad part. But the bad thing in this story is that 2 lives were lost.
Yes,
that did not need to
stolen
be lost.
lives from one family.
2 lives were lost that did not need. So what is a way that could have prevented it? Is not probably going to the lion's den.
That's the only way.
It's not going to the lion's den.
You know what?
Actually, a few years ago, was it, I think about like 8-9 years ago in North Carolina, this guy divorced the wife literally because she built a house in her father's place. But the only caveat is that that he had no idea. Like she didn't tell him until after it was done. But then it's still like, this is like something that you have to like file for divorce for. That is how that's how backward some of these situations are. And it's crazy that this happened like about right now, 8-9 years ago until today. It's still like the same cycle, just revolving.
At least the man is good that the man divorced her. Rather than going to go and kill her.
Yes.
It's good. If you cannot handle it, even the mate, if you cannot handle your woman's thing, get out of the marriage.
But to take another person's life is non-negotiable. Jay, you wanted to say something so that we'll be rounding up with this live show because the next one is hotter than this.
So one thing I wanted to say, oh God, I hope I don't forget my train of thought. Hang on, it's coming back to me. 1 second. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to say is that in Nigeria, unfortunately, we're still very early in the conversation about domestic violence in relationships and the signs, what to look out for, how to protect yourself if your partner has shown you signs of threatening you with violence. And then the other side of it is we're also still very new to the conversation of mental health. Like, I don't think that this person, for you to act the way you acted, or the way this man acted, the way he acted, is somebody that is stable mentally. And I don't think that we have the education that we need in our society to be able to identify when somebody is mentally unstable and how you can protect yourself if you find yourself in that kind of situation. Because for somebody to have threatened you and chased you around with a weapon, that already shows that like this person is not a normal person in society. How can I take active steps to make sure that this person does not know my location, this person doesn't know my movements, this person doesn't have access to me at all? And I think that that's one big conversation that is missing in our society. Now, for those idiots that were saying, I don't like to insult people, but like for those people that were saying, let's hear the man's side of the story. There is no side, there's no justification whatsoever in this world. I don't care, but there's no justification for you to take 2 human lives. There's no justification for it at all. For you to set a house on fire and the mother of your children is just gone like that, then you still want to hear the guy's side of the story. I feel like you've already lost all your rights for people to even hear your side of the story once you go straight to violence. So those 2 conversations, I think, is something that we're still new to having in our society. Is how can you protect yourself? It's not normal for somebody to be chasing you around with a match. It's not normal behavior.
Physical, it's not spiritual.
And you freaking did. You freaking reconcile. What the hell are you with the random
normal behavior? It's not normal behavior. If you're in the diaspora, I know that violence still happens. But if you were to ever report to the police and tell them that your partner was chasing you with a weapon, the first thing they will tell you is, how can we get you to somewhere safe? Because they know that somebody like that already has the tendency to act in a violent manner and your life is in danger. But because we're so used to having, I don't know, it's just a lot of education that needs to be done in terms of mental health, protecting yourself when you're violent, your partner is showing signs of violence and threatening your life. Is not something that you should take lightly. It's not something you should take lightly at all. And I think maybe that's where a huge mistake and oversight was made, because she probably underestimated, how far this person could have gone.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you so much, Jay. So we're rounding up. Who wants to go first to round up their final words? Because the second live show, you think this is hot.
This one, the second live show is even worse than my own final words in this team.
Final words?
No, I'm a guest on this show now. Just 2 things that I wrote down. People who are in privileged positions find it difficult to give up their privilege. So, for example, men around the world, let me narrow it down. Men in Nigeria, they know the privilege of what it means to have balls, to be a human being that was born with a penis. They know what privilege comes from that. Now, when you have a woman in society that is demanding what she wants as a lady, that is daring, traveling abroad against all odds with her 4 kids, like Annie called them, four black kids in Scotland, but still coming back home and building a house, it's like a threat to them and their masculinity. People who are in places of privilege, they would never want to give up their privilege for the most part. So you have to take it by force. You have to take it by force. And just going off of what Egosa was saying and everybody has been saying here about women knowing what it means to, that it's okay to be by themselves. It's okay to be alone. I think we have to even keep on echoing this thing, that it's okay. You don't have to be attached to anybody. And also they tell you, because when they come this platform, we talk about toxic masculinity and everything, echoing to men that this thing too is dangerous for you. It's dangerous for you as a human being to wallow in this kind of hatred. Because for you to do this thing to somebody, to set another person ablaze, you must also hate yourself. You must also hate your children. For you to do this kind of nonsense. So this case is not even a case of saying, I know we always talk about how to protect women and how to make women safe and everything, but the perpetrators of the crime too, they need to go and fix themselves. And this just happens to be the men in today's situation. They need to go and fix themselves. This is the second story that we're carrying of somebody that is setting their partner ablaze. This is intimate partner violence. It's beyond domestic. Domestic is anybody can be violating you, whatever. Intimate partner, the person that you are sleeping with, that is the person that is harming you. That's my own.
Who is going next? Thank you. So that we'll round up to the next live show. Who wants to go next, please?
I don't have anything else to say. I think I've said all I need to say. So I will see you ladies in the next live.
Thank you, Jay. So who's going next?
Okay, well, let me just quickly. Everybody has said everything, really and honestly. But the only thing I will say is that for men need to be calling themselves out on these things, because that's what I see men all over the world doing right now. And don't isolate yourself from the conversation. Insert yourself into the women's conversation. It's also very helpful because it will help you get the hindsight. It will help you get an idea of what's going on and how you should also relate with women in your lives. If you can start with your sisters. If you have children, start with your daughters. How would you feel if a man just treats your daughter the way you never in your life imagined somebody would treat your daughter? So I think that people should be personalizing these issues and not removing, especially men. Don't personalize it. Think, okay, what if it was my daughter? If you can't think about your sister or your mother, but use it, you say, okay, what if my daughter, what if she went through this? How would I feel about this? So I think that there's a lot of work to be done on the male side, because it seems like it's happening more with the men than it is with the women, you know? So that's all I'm going to say. And I look forward to the next one.
Thank you so much, Omoye. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for answering. Thank you for answering my question. The question I had earlier on.
Omoye went deep to the foundation,
because as a person who I don't succumb to pressure, I can say that anyway. I sometimes I find it hard to understand why certain people have issues.
And Omoye
broke it down. So I was able to see it through the other lenses of what actually goes on and how upbringing and everything can have an impact in the situation.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.
Amaka, you want to go next?
Hey, I can go. I don't even know if I have final words. I think it's just as far as this is concerned, we as women need to like I feel like kind of encourage each other in the sense that especially for a lot of married women too, because I see a lot of married women doing that. There's been a lot of shaming as far as you see someone that is in the most horrible kind of marriage. Next thing they'll be saying, that one is this one. She's not married, or oh, you're still hanging out with single girls. I wonder why you would do that. I know all those kind of feeling like, and I'm like, dude, I know how kind of messy your marriage is. Like, what gives you the right to, look down on people, or just because? So I feel like, in as much as we want to say the men is the problem, the men will come into the conversation. Yes, for sure. Yes. But you cannot love somebody, or you cannot expect change from somebody if you don't even have a value. If you don't value yourself first. That's what I'm saying. We have to have that self-love. We have to have that self-value. We have to have that self-worth to know when to walk away. If it doesn't suit you, walk away, or kind of guard your space, guard yourself. Because from what I can tell, from what I could just see all over the story, is that it's a broken marriage that's already broken, because anything that is going to make me go and build a house on my own and just already living my life separately with my kids, that means there's really nothing there. All the marriage thing is just on paper. You see what I'm saying? And just to just cover that facade. So that the lady has no business going to the home. So, and all I can just say is all those pressure. Nobody gives a damn. It's high time we even married women just recognize that nobody gives a damn. If you leave this world today, the sun is still going to rise up in the morning. You see what I'm saying? And it's still going to go down at night. People are still going to be partying. People are still going to be having lives out there. Right? You're just going to end up messing your children up for the next generations to come. Because without a God, how are they going to? You're gone. The crazy man is gone. I think as high time we start thinking about ourselves first, putting ourselves first, and I want to say put also our mental health first, and being realistic being realistic to people about marriage too. Instead of trying to pretend and cover up and be and have all kinds of facades about just be realistic. If someone's getting married, hey, did you think this is true? It's time for people to start taking therapy really, really serious. But marriage, like I said, in the US, it has a high percentage divorce rate. I feel like initially, which I got married really, really young, so I didn't really put any details. Okay, sorry. Okay, I thought we already know, right? Okay. Overall, my overall end of
your passion will drive us for 3 hours. We need it for the next live show. For the next live show. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies. All right. See you guys soon.
Bye. Amaka, the love between us and Amaka.
I'm always the last to comment. Okay.
You have to explain yourself today. You have to. I'm joking.
You know that the common sense sisters understand you.
Yes.
But one of the goals here is not for you to be misunderstood.
Yes.
By every other person. So
yes.
We understand you, but the goal is not for the squad or any other person to misunderstand you, because we know where you stand.
Yeah, I'm for you, ladies. You know that.
We know that you're for equal rights. We know. Yes. So you're giving that track record, and that's why we can confidently say we know that part. Okay, but so when we drill, everybody drill is because,
and these are questions that people want to be asking.
And people want to ask this question. Yes, that's why we drill.
I understand you.
So it's all level. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, but yeah. So promise. Yeah, we'll try to insert ourselves in the conversation with women, to sit on the table with women and thrash out this issue. Like I said, men are the problem, and we cannot isolate ourselves from this issue. We need to start speaking up. more men need to start speaking up and be comfortable with equality with women. We just have to be comfortable with equality. If we are not comfortable, then the problem will still be persistent.